Welcome back to Mama Children's YouTube channel, where we discuss matters that concern children, their well-being, their holistic development, just name it. Then we share what information I can get. And of late, I've been discussing the impact of unexpected results on our children and you as the parents. Today, we are going to discuss how do we maintain the children's balanced approach to academics. We need to help the children balance the academics because the unexpected results have brought strains. We've discussed how to manage the strains, but now how do we balance continuously to achieve holistic academic performance? We need to teach them to prioritize time management. Allocate time for studying, extracurricular activities, hobbies, and relaxation. Most of the schools, I'm not blaming the schools, I'm not blaming the parents, I'm not blaming the children, but most of the academic systems right now, it's more of class, academic. The child has no space to even breathe in, relax a bit, and also tap into the other talents and other hobbies that they do have that they can nurture or identify from an early stage. So we need to help them prioritize time. Set time. At 10, I'll be relaxing a bit, at least for 30 minutes. Some children never get out of the classroom setting. They are released like cows. At 10, you're going for break, and break must be 15 minutes. You eat as in eat, chop, run to the washroom and run back to class. There is no time to relax the mind. That it needs time. And we need to help our children. If it can't be done in school, then it can be done at home. For those who have children that are day scholars, help them relax a bit. Like I said, set realistic goals. You understand your child's abilities. And you know your child's interests. You know your child is not an A student, but you expect A's. You know your child is weak in mathematics, but you expect 100. Maybe to come from the moon, maybe to force it. Set realistic goals. I mean, sometimes we need to look also at ourselves and say, but can I manage those goals that I've set for my children? I've been to schools where they set grades per term, that according to how the children came into this class, this is realistic. We got the average and we think they can go through the same targets, and they set targets. And children as individuals are also given a form to set your own targets. I believe I can score 60 from 50. Also, don't set targets where your child, you think they will come from 50 to 100. Yeah, miracles can happen, but go step by step. So that when they go from 60 to 100, yet you set 80, that is worth celebrating. Set achievable goals and help the children set achievable goals. Encourage breakdowns to promote relaxation, like I said. Children burnout. Let's take a sample of how we are maybe at workspace, and you seated at your desk from 8, reports, the communications, write this, meetings, nothing. At break, even you walk with a cup of coffee. You do not have a moment of sitting down. You will burn out. Children too burn out. So there is need to help them so as to maintain their focus. There is need to take a break. A break as in, now I'm not in class, I'm not thinking academics, let me recharge. Your child needs to recharge if they are to attain the best academic results. We need to promote physical activity to improve the mood and the concentration. Many children, I don't blame the schools, but many children don't have access to physical activity. Whenever a child has access or participates in physical activity, it boosts the mood and also improves their concentration. This in the long run can improve their overall well-being, but let's create time. Let's ask the schools. If the school does not have capacity to help you provide or promote physical ability, then you as a parent, you can find it. How about when your child comes home and for 10-15 minutes before they bathe, before they do homework, before they do, maybe they just jump around, skip the rope, run around the house, even dancing from the sitting room, because our space is a little bit small. Let them be engaged a little bit. Let's support healthy habits. Just like the physical activities where children have to keep a little bit physically fit, let's encourage healthy, nutritious meals. And keep them hydrated. At least many schools are asking the children, come with a water bottle, come with a water bottle, to help keep the children hydrated. But also we need a proper nutrition. Some people say, don't only eat cassava because it will help you to dose, or the foods that we see that are .com, yeah, the chips and what, but it's not nutritious for your child. Okay, even to you, it's not nutritious. Let's make sure we have a balanced diet. A carrot is not bad, an avocado is not bad. At least when the school doesn't provide, when the child is back home, try to balance it and let it at least be properly nutritious, so that this helps them balance their health and also will help them with sleep. Adequate sleep is needed. Let's get children off the screen time. Let's make sure they get off the screen time or they reduce it, so that by the time they go to sleep, there is a break between when they last watched the screen. It could be a phone, it could be television, and when they go to bed, there is a gap, at least a split of about 30 minutes. In that way, even their sleep will be adequate and will be enriched sleep. And this is what they need, because they will be resting well enough and be ready for the next classes or the next school day. Provide opportunities to these children, dear parents, to socialize and connect. In school, like I've said, it's work, class. Yes, we have friends in class, but we are not even allowed to talk, or the children are not allowed to over discuss. So in class, we are talking about classwork. Out of the class, at break time, we are eating, so the mouth is a bit active, and we run back to class. That is the children's life that they're going through. So you as a parent, you can help these children thrive academically if you organize or let them participate in activities that are outside the classroom. These include, for the schools, they can offer clubs like football, clubs like debates, where people don't overthink about only academics. Clubs, extracurricular activities like sports, like MDD. I mean, we used to thrive in our days because we were encouraged and we participated in those activities. If the children are given an opportunity to socialize, engage, and connect with friends and peers out of the classroom, their academic excellence, their academic development, balanced, will be achieved. We need to foster a growth mindset to encourage children have a positive attitude towards learning and its challenges. Like I said, setbacks come and go, but if a child has mindset, a positive attitude towards learning, that even with a setback, I can still get it right. They have that positive mindset that even when I fail, I can still grow. I will grow. I will overcome that. I will go beyond that. We need to support them and foster that. And this will help their learning abilities increase, because if they have this attitude of like, but I can be better, I can make it, I'll be better than that student, I will show them that I'm the greatest, it pushes them. It is self-made, it comes from within. It will push this child to be able to improve on the grades and also balance their lifestyle, because they know where their weaknesses are and they're set and well knowledgeable on how to maneuver any setbacks that they have. So when the children have this attitude of, yes, I can overcome, this is what we need to foster in our children. Most importantly of all, to attain the academic excellence, let's seek help. We need help with those that have encountered academic difficulties from teachers and their peers. We encourage children to always seek help. People who seek help, it's a sign of strength and commitment to improve. So we encourage the children to always seek help. If you've not made it right, if you've not got the right grades, now I'm talking about kids in the classes that are in between, you can consult the teachers. Go to them, tell them this is failing me, but I want to be better. That is a sign that I'm ready to grow. I'm willing to maneuver. I'm willing to overcome. But also, sometimes they understand their peers very well. There is so-and-so who is better than me in mathematics. There is so-and-so who is better than me in English, but I cannot understand the teacher. That peer-to-peer learning is very, very important because they understand themselves at a lower level very well. They can equally say, but I can help you with mathematics and you help me with English. That kind of sharing and asking for help is what we should encourage our children. That if your friend is better than you in English and you're better than him in math, as friends, and to grow that friendship, help him with math, helps you with English. If both of you are stuck, then you seek help from the teacher. Let's teach our children that seeking help is not for lazy people. It's not for failures. If we try to put any of these ideas or all into action, I believe our children now will be able to maintain a balanced approach to academics and their excellence. No one will stop them. They will be unstoppable. Like and share this video if you really think it can impact another parent. But always subscribe so that you get this information the moment it comes out. God bless you.